Blair and Serena are objectively as beautiful as each other. However, Serena is at the centre of most of romantic plots of the show and is loved by everyone. And Blair would be the mean, not lovable sidekick, even if in real life people prefer Blair. The jealousy Blair felt for Serena and the natural spotlight that Serena seemed to gain effortlessly isn't about looks, it's about psychology and self-image. There is a video I recommend that looks at the physical difference between them, which makes one more inviting than the other. I am going to focus on the psychology behind why Serena is the most popular. For context, Serena is an it girl who disappeared for a year and mysteriously returns from boarding school. She left without a word and returns the same way, which actually created Gossip Girl. She is easygoing, doesn't overthink things more or less, and everything seems to work out for her. Her best friend Blair is the opposite. She commands the girls at her school like an army. She created her throne and destroys anyone who gets in her way. Serena is the daughter of Lily Vander Woodson, a mother who categorised herself as a serial trophy wife. She herself comes from a rich family, but she has her own money from receiving alimony from her former husbands, who are all also rich. And Serena also has a brother, Eric, but he's not super important for this video. Serena was therefore born with a mother, but no stable father figure, which will create daddy issues for her, giving her a hopeless romantic view of love that doesn't change throughout the series. The image we have of love is defined by what we see our parents have as children, given that it's the first romantic relationship we witness. So having a blended family on several occasions,
I should have insisted on more structure years ago. You mean like 3 husbands ago?
Serena lacks this stability, which will continuously push her to seek this love. Even though Lily comes from a modest background, she doesn't consider herself above the working class, which was taught to Serena. Blair, on the other hand, was born into the Waldorf family. Her mother Eleanor is a fashion designer and was married for most of her high school years to Harold, who is a photographer. Blair has always been closer to her father because her mother always judged and criticised her physique, which pushed her to have eating disorders, TCA. But when she was 15, her father left her mother for Roman, a male model. After getting married, Harold and Roman moved to Paris, thus leaving Blair and her mother alone. Eleanor always preferred Serena to Blair, at least that's how Blair sees it.
Before you tuck into that, you might find a low-fat yogurt more appealing.
Which instills in Blair the idea that she isn't beautiful enough to be loved. The Waldorfs are a family of lineage, and Eleanor judges people who have a lower standard of living than her as not being equals. This is present in the multiple times she asks Dan to serve her a drink. This was instilled in Blair. Serena and Blair have been best friends since they were very little. When Serena's mother had left her to go with one of her husbands, Blair welcomed her into her home. But despite this strong friendship, there is this constant competition between the two that Serena often seems to win without even trying.
Because you take everything from me! Nate, my mom, Blair, you can't even help it! It's who you are!
Before Serena left for boarding school, she slept with Nate, Blair's boyfriend since they were little, and who for Blair was her ideal husband. Blair, unaware of this, writes to Serena explaining what's happening with her without a response. Before Serena left, it seems she was the one ruling the school, but when this place was created, Blair established her dictatorship. And when Serena returned, it was therefore a power war for Blair. But for Serena, she just wanted to find her friend again and rebuild herself after killing someone. I won't go into details, but yes, she saw someone die, and that's why she left. Blair is a perfectionist, a leader, judgmental, and can be sadistic. She is satisfied with nothing less than excellence and first place. This need for perfection comes from the fact that, like all of us, she seeks to be loved, but she has lost hope of being so. A phrase that is known on TikTok and that corresponds well to her is,
"You need to be cool to be queen. You can't make people love you, but you can make them fear you."
Blair only received unconditional love from her father, but he abandoned her, and from her governess Dorota, who, by the way, is like a second mother to Blair. But as one person cannot cover the lack of love from all the others, Blair doesn't feel deserving of being loved effortlessly. She takes people under her control like pawns or soldiers because she knows that trying to make them love her wouldn't work. By the way, a little aside, Her equivalent in the reboot Monet has a whole arc in the second season about this.
Want to be loved. Love only exposes you to trouble. Isn't it better to hate than be hated?
No, not at all.
I want to be loved.
Tell me if you like these analyses and if you would like me to focus on the reboot. Let's get back to the video. Conversely, Serena is carefree and doesn't worry about much apart from her relationships. She had a party girl past and was known for being the life of the party before her return to New York. She is smiling and doesn't judge people by their social background. She had many flings during the series, and each time she projected a future with them, but they all failed. Serena doesn't give much importance to what people say about her. A phrase that personally struck me that she says to Blair is,
People don't tell you who you are. You tell them.
Serena likes being the centre of attention, whether it's positive or negative. She has a fairly well-constructed sense of self-worth. This means she naturally has a self-confidence that draws people to her. And by the way, for comparison, what partly created Gossip Girl was during a museum outing. Serena, wearing a white dress, was soaked by a water jet which revealed her underwear. Everyone talked about it, which made her name even more known. This is a supposition, but I imagine that if Blair had been soaked in the same dress, she would have destroyed all the phones present on site and would also have destroyed every person who dared to talk about it. To the question of why Serena was the chosen it girl and not Blair the queen bee, it's not a question of beauty as Blair might believe, but rather a question of limiting beliefs and self-perception. I don't think Serena is the reason why Blair didn't shine constantly. She was jealous of Vanessa at one point. But anyway, it's rather Blair's family history and her traumas that made her see herself as inferior to Serena. But the dynamic changed towards the end of the series when Blair and Dan started to be together. The dynamic between Serena and Blair reversed, because Blair, being forced to go to NYU with Dan, the proletarian, and Vanessa, was forced to be around people she despised. This softened her judgment and made her less frightening and more endearing, whereas Serena didn't have any self-reflection. After high school, she took a sabbatical year where she looked for her biological father. Then she worked for several celebrities due to her reputation, which didn't force her to grow or question herself. So I think when Blair dated Dan, Serena wasn't just jealous of Dan, but also of the fact that Blair had a company and a life that was starting to succeed for her. I just want to finish by saying that this video is not who is better or something like that. I don't think many people, apart from Blair, saw Serena as superior. So there you have it, that's my analysis. Thanks for watching. Good night if you're watching this at night, and good day if you're watching this during the day.